Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Welcome to Connecting the Dots. We're the place where we look at the tech stories you're hearing about and really figure out what they mean for you, for your day, your wallet, your plans.
And it is Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. And wow, we've got some big shifts happening today. I mean, how you play games on the move, how you talk to your car, the fundamentals are changing.
They really are. Okay, but before we unpack the three big ones from our Morningstar report, let's just quickly get a sense of the landscape. How are things looking out there?
Well, locally here in Sacramento, just a heads up, there's a wind advisory that's in effect until 4:00 p.m. today, so be aware of that.
Good reminder. And nationally.
Bigger picture, there's an atmospheric river hitting the northwest U.S. Yeah. So heavy rain, potential flooding, high winds up there. And then on the other side of the country, a fast storm is crossing the northeast, bringing some gusty winds too. Bit active out there.
Okay, stay safe, everyone. And the markets, what's the vibe financially?
Markets closed kind of mixed yesterday. So we're still trending down for the week overall. The Dow is up just a tiny bit, like 0.09%.
Right.
Ended at 47,139.93. But yeah, down about 1.100% for the week.
Okay. And the S&P?
S&P 500 slipped a little, down 0.04%, closing at 6,767.32. Also down for the week about 1.67%. So investors seem a bit cautious, maybe waiting for a clearer signal.
Right, holding pattern. But Bitcoin had a better day.
Yeah, Bitcoin actually had a nice little bump. It closed up almost 1%, 0.96%, hitting 102,487.01.
Wow, back over six figures.
Yeah, it's been, a bit up and down lately, down almost 7% for the week still, but seeing it pop back over 102K, that's a nice little positive note for the middle of the week.
Always good to find those bright spots.
Definitely.
Speaking of bright spots and maybe thinking ahead, if you're starting to ponder holiday gifts, especially for that tech person who seems to have everything, we've got a great idea from our first sponsor, Old Glory.
Yeah, Old Glory is fantastic. It's that iconic store for music and sports fan merchandise, great quality jerseys, cool band tees, just perfect stuff to help someone maybe step away from the screen for a bit and show off their fandom.
Totally. And listen, as a Connecting the Dots listener, you get a deal. Use the promo code SNARFUL, that's SNARFUL when you check out, and you'll get 15% off your entire order.
Just head over to their website, oldglory.com. Great spot for holiday shopping.
Okay, let's get into it. The core of our analysis today. We've got three really interesting reports today, and they all kind of touch on this theme of tech breaking free. Breaking free from its initial limits, whether that's function, intelligence, or even ethical boundaries. Let's start with that functional freedom, the PlayStation Portal.
Right. This is the big one for gamers today. You remember when the Portal launched, right? A lot of critics, maybe including us.
Guilty. I was definitely one of them.
Yeah. We saw it as basically just this expensive accessory for remote play. Yeah. You had to be connected to your PS5 if you traveled, if your PS5 wasn't on or connected well. Pretty useless.
Exactly. My thought was, why spend money on a separate screen just to stream from the console that's like 10 feet away?
Well, that whole limitation. It officially ends later today.
Get out of here, really.
Yep. Starting today, November 5th, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, PlayStation is rolling out full cloud streaming support directly to the portal.
Okay, that changes everything. Explain the key difference.
The big shift is this.
Yeah.
If you subscribe to PS Plus Premium plus that top tier, you can now stream a whole bunch of games from your library without needing that remote play link back to your own PS5 console.
So it actually works like a standalone handheld now?
Essentially, yes. For those subscribers, it becomes a true handheld cloud streaming device. Sony's finally making it what many thought it should have been from the start.
Which does raise the question, why now? Why didn't they launch it this way? If this makes it so much better, why hold it back?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It probably points to their initial strategy, maybe testing the waters. But honestly, I think it's also about pressure. You've got the Steam Deck, other PC handhelds.
Right, devices offering real untethered gaming.
Exactly. Sony needed to make the portal make sense, especially for their highest-paying subscribers. This feels less like pure innovation and more like, frankly, catching up to stay competitive. It feels necessary.
I totally agree. It felt like a feature that was missing, deliberately maybe? But now that it's here, the device itself is suddenly way more interesting, and the game library is pretty massive for this, right?
Oh, yeah. they're saying over 2,845 games are supported right at launch. That includes huge titles people care about, like Astrobot, Borderlands 4, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, God of War Ragnarok, Cyberpunk 2077.
Wow. Okay. So serious titles.
Definitely. And it's not just the cloud streaming. They've added some other important quality of life updates, too, things that make the experience better overall.
Like what?
Well, there's 3D audio support now for both modes. There's a passcode lock screen.
Oh, that's essential if you're actually taking it out now.
Totally. And a network status screen, so you can easily check how good your connection is.
Right.
Which is obviously critical for cloud streaming.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're streaming from a hotel Wi-Fi or something, you need to know.
Right. And then specific to cloud streaming, they've updated accessibility options, added an in-game store so you can buy stuff directly, and you can even accept multiplayer invites right on the portal. It's a pretty comprehensive update.
It sounds like it. Took them a while, but it seems like a huge win for Portal owners and especially those Premium Plus subscribers.
Definitely a big upgrade in value.
Okay, so from gaming freedom, let's shift gears to intelligence, specifically the intelligence in your navigation. Story number 2 is about Google Maps, and it looks like they're making a major AI upgrade.
Yeah, this is pretty significant for everyday driving. Google is officially replacing the, let's call it legacy, Google Assistant inside Google Maps navigation with Gemini AI.
Okay, Gemini. We've been hearing a lot about that. What's the promise here?
Google's framing it as enabling a truly hands-free conversational driving experience. Their analogy is like having a knowledgeable friend in the passenger seat. This is rolling out on Android and iOS in the coming weeks.
I like that knowledgeable friend idea because, let's be honest, the old assistant sometimes felt more like a slightly confused robot you had to phrase things just right for.
Exactly. The old assistant was pretty rigid, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. You could say navigate home or maybe find gas stations, but ask anything slightly complex and it would just, fail. Gemini is built for actual conversation.
So how does that work in practice? What can it do?
Well, it taps into Gemini's conversational power.
Right.
And uses that to make sense of Google Maps' huge database, like 250 million businesses, all the reviews, traffic data, everything. So it can handle much more complex multi-step requests while you're driving.
Give me the kind of example that would have totally stumped the old assistant.
Okay, imagine you're on a long road trip and you need something specific. Instead of dangerously trying to type or pulling over, you could just ask Gemini something like, hey, is there a budget-friendly restaurant with vegan options along my route? Maybe something within the next couple of miles. Oh, yeah. And what's the parking situation like there?
Okay, yeah, that's way more complex, multiple conditions.
Right, and then after Gemini gives you the options and info, you can just say, okay, sounds good, let's go to that one. It understands the whole context of the conversation. That's the leap forward.
And the big why this matters for people listening has to be safety, right?
Absolutely. When the voice commands are clunky or limited, what do people do? They end up trying to tap the screen while driving. The goal here is to make the voice interaction so good, so natural, that you don't need to touch the phone.
Makes total sense. Are there other new features coming with this Gemini integration?
Yeah, a couple of key ones. One is conversational traffic reporting. This is something Waze added recently, too. So instead of hunting for a button, you can just say, looks like there's an accident up ahead, or watch out, there's flooding on the road.
Oh, that's useful, like crowdsourcing safety info just by talking.
Exactly. Plus, hands-free route editing. So you can say, avoid tolls or take me off the highway without digging through menus. And for Android users, it can also tap into other Gemini features, like summarizing emails or giving you a quick news update if you want that while driving.
Interesting. Although Android Auto support isn't there day one.
They say it's on the way. But even without it initially, this feels like a major step. It's really about embedding powerful AI into these tools we use every single day.
It sets a new baseline, doesn't it? Like, pretty soon, any navigation app that doesn't feel this conversational might start to feel really dated.
I think so. We're moving past just basic commands. Now the expectation is shifting towards tools that understand context, intent, real conversation.
Okay, so we've got freedom with the portal, intelligence with Gemini. Our third story brings us to boundaries. And maybe the confusion that happens when big companies try to borrow boundaries without asking first. We're talking about Meta, Instagram, and the Motion Picture Association, the MPA.
Yeah, this one is, let's call it spicy. Because Meta is clearly trying to address the massive pressure they're under regarding child safety online. A huge liability issue for them.
Right. So what did they announce?
They announced they're revamping Instagram accounts for teens, specifically ages 13 to 17, the ones with parental supervision enabled. And the default content setting will now be guided by the MPA's PG-13 movie rating.
Guided by PG-13, okay.
And importantly, teens can't just turn this filter off. They need parental permission to change it.
So Meta's thinking was, use a rating system parents already know and trust, like PG-13 for movies?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Their spokesperson basically said PG-13 is a familiar model for parents, gives them clarity, peace of mind about things like nudity, profanity, violence, drug use levels. They hoped borrowing that recognizable PG-13 label would build trust.
Okay. That sounds reasonable on the surface, but you said spicy. Where did it go wrong?
It went wrong almost immediately because the Motion Picture Association, the actual group that created and manages the PG-13 rating system, the MPA, they publicly pushed back hard.
Wait, they issued a statement saying, hold on a second.
Pretty much. MPA Chairman Charles Rivkin came out and said, essentially, Meta never contacted us about this. And he called Meta's claim that the tool is guided by PG-13 movie ratings inaccurate.
Ouch. So the MPA basically said, that's our rating and you're not using it correctly and you didn't even talk to us.
That's the gist. The NBA pointed out their rating system is specifically for film. It's run by actual parents, it's voluntary for filmmakers, and it's designed for, a finished movie, not for the constant chaotic flood of content on social media.
Yeah, that seems like a fundamental difference. A movie gets rated once after it's finished. It's Instagram. Billions of posts, user-generated stuff happening every second.
Exactly. Think about the actual PG-13 standard. It means parents strongly cautioned. And it has specific rules, like any depiction of drug use automatically pushes a film to at least PG-13, or rules about brief nudity needing to be non-sexual.
How on earth do you apply that kind of specific, nuanced human judgment consistently across millions of Instagram posts automatically and in real time?
You probably can't, not accurately. And that's the MPA's point. Their system isn't designed for that scale or that type of dynamic content.
So Meta tried to leverage the reputation of an established standard to solve their safety problem. But they did it unilaterally, maybe didn't fully understand the standard, and ended up just creating conflict and confusion.
Pretty much sums it up. It really highlights the pressure Meta is under, but also the pitfalls of trying to just grab an external standard, especially one from a totally different industry, without real collaboration or understanding if it even fits.
Yeah, the takeaway seems to be that tech companies need solutions designed for the digital world. You can't just slap an old label on a new problem, especially without talking to the people who own the label first.
Right. They either need a native solution that scales, or they need genuine partnership with these organizations if they want to borrow their standards. Otherwise, it just looks, a bit desperate and disorganized.
Okay, those three stories really do connect, don't they? The PS Portal finally getting its freedom, Gemini bringing a new level of intelligence to maps, and Meta bumping up against the boundaries of trying to borrow standards. It's all about how tech adapts.
Definitely. And hey, before we wrap things up, let's give a shout out to our other sponsor today, Sony.
Ah, yes, Sony. If you're a golfer or shopping for one, Sony is where you go for premium golf shoes. Seriously, top-tier stuff for performance on the course.
Absolutely. And just like with Old Glory, you can use our promo code SNARFUL, SNARFUL at checkout to get 15% off your entire purchase.
You can find them online at skoni.com. That's skoni.ottaway.com.
Great gear over there.
Okay, so quick recap of our Morningstar report today. First, Sony finally set the PlayStation Portal free with cloud streaming, making it a much more compelling handheld, at least for those top-tier subscribers.
Then we saw Google Maps getting a brain boost, swapping Assistant for the much more conversational Gemini AI, which really changes the game for hands-free navigation and safety.
And finally, that clash between Meta and the MPA over using the PG-13 rating for Instagram's teen filters a clear example of the challenges in applying old standards to new tech without proper coordination.
Yeah, all three showing technology evolving, adapting sometimes smoothly, sometimes, less smoothly, and maybe pulling that thread on the Gemini story just one more time. As AI gets this good, this conversational, this knowledgeable friend.
Yeah, where are you going with that?
Well, the really interesting thought to leave folks with is, how quickly are we going to lose patience with everything else? With any interface, digital or physical, that still makes us click through menus or type simple commands.
Ooh, that's a good point. Our expectations for effortless, smart interaction are being reset right now, aren't they?
I think they are. It could get frustrating pretty fast using tools that don't feel that intelligent anymore. We might see user expectations climb really rapidly.
Something to watch for sure.
Definitely.
We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.